Hi, this is the second of two tutorials about making art journals from junk mail, magazines, things like that. The last video was me making this art journal from advertising from a bank and some other places. And this tutorial is going to be on making a journal from magazines. These are free magazines that come in our Sunday paper. I've already made one art journal from this magazine. This is just one magazine turned into an art journal. So this time I'm going to use 4. I like these sort of art journals because they're incredibly cheap to make, and because I haven't spent hardly any money on the materials for them, I don't feel precious about the art that I make in them. I don't get stuck in my head so much about making great art. I can just make art. The two main things that you will need to spend money on to make these journals is PVA craft glue and masking tape. Both very cheap. Just make sure you get a decent quality masking tape. I found the best place to get good tape for cheap is actually a painting shop. So it's also a good idea to have a few sheets of wax paper. Just stops the glue from getting into pages that you don't want them to and sticking everything together. So here I have my 4 magazines all glued together. I've put a heavy book on them while they dried. Now the thing about using magazines to make an art journal is that the pages are very thin. So in order to strengthen them and make a fairly sturdy surface to art on, I glue pages together, usually about 3, at least 2, but usually 3. But before I do that, what I like to do is actually go through the magazines and just make note of any imagery that I particularly like, any colours or patterns that I might want to use in a finished art journal page, and I kind of plan around that. So this face, I would try my best to keep this face. I wouldn't stick these 2 pages together. So it's a decent size, so I'll cover it in clear gesso and then paint over it. I'll show you, I did do one of those in this journal behind here. So this is I painted over this face. This face was actually on this page, covered it in clear gesso and then painted over it too. It doesn't look anything like the original photo, but yeah, so that's what I like to do. PVA glue for these inner pages. I do like to water it down just a little bit, just because it helps it spread a bit easier. The thing you have to remember with magazine paper, any thin paper that you apply wet glue to, it's going to wrinkle, it's going to bubble. I like that. I think it adds some nice texture. Sometimes I will, encourage the wrinkling. But on this page, because I want to keep that face, I'm going to use a bone folder to help smooth out the wrinkles, to make a nice surface to paint on. There's probably a bit more glue than was needed. So I finished gluing all the pages into groups of 3, and I've been taping as I go. The masking tape is a really integral part of this art journal construction, because as the glue soaks into the paper, it weakens, especially around the staples, and if you don't tape the center, it will start to come apart. So I like to use my bone folder here and really press the tape into this groove of the spine. And this also helps later on when you're using the art journal. It stops paint and other liquids seeping in to the rest of the book. So you can either fold the ends of the masking tape over to the other side of the page, or you can trim it off flush. No matter what sort of scissors you use, once you cut tape with them, they will start to get gummed up. So even though these are a pair of Teflon coated scissors and are meant to be for cutting tape and resisting the goop, they still get gummed up and they don't work as well. What I use to clean the scissors is just eucalyptus oil. Pure eucalyptus oil works the best. You just put a little bit onto a paper towel and then wipe all the goop off the blades. It works fantastically well. I'm just going to put a bit of masking tape around the spine of the book, just to help keep all that together. I like a bone folder here with tape too. I think it really presses it in, makes it seal really good. And that's it. That is my new art journal. This is a picture that I want to keep, and this is a picture that I want to keep, but there was only 2 pages in between these 2 pictures, so this page is only 2 of the old pages thick, which is still, it's fairly, feels a bit too flimsy. So what I do to strengthen this page is to collage other paper over the top, and I like to use book text. So I have here the PVA mixture, which has been watered down to a fairly thin consistency. Milk, maybe thin cream, and the trick with collage is to glue under and over.